and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks. And today I would like to share with you the ideas and projects that you can do with your scrap yarn. So behind me here is my stash, all unused balls, and here is my stash with used balls, so the leftovers. And that's the two boxes here today that I want to talk about, that I want to give you ideas for how you can use them up. Now, of course, for me, it's a little bit different because very often I have to start a new ball, even though I have the color in here. But it's because I'm designing things and I need to make sure I know exactly how much yarn you need for that particular project. So yes, my little box here does fill up quite quickly, and it also fills up with quite big balls as well. So I can do quite a bit with those. So today I just wanted to start this video like this so I can show you which colors I am going to choose from here, because I want to make a little project during this video while I'm talking to you, and I will cake it up in a moment as well. So hopefully by the end of the video I'll have something to show you. I don't know whether that's going to work, but we'll see. Okay, so which colors shall I go for? I always tend to go for the blue, but I'm trying not to do that today. Right, okay, so I just got out this magenta, which I really like. So together with storm blue, yes, blue, but already, a different colour in there. Right. What shall I do? Shall I stay with those kind of colours and put a neutral with it? Or this as neutral? I'm not sure. This could take a while. As you can tell, I'm wearing my gold hill because I thought it went with the dress, the little bits of specks of white. I don't know. No, I don't think this is good. Let's try something else. This is good. Let's go and cake it up. So we all know what it's like. You've made that big project that you wanted to make, and now you have, left over from those balls that you used for that project. And to be honest, that's never enough to make anything else. So really, yes, you've made the project, but there is money as well in those leftovers that you have now sitting on your shelf. So every time you can make a project with those leftovers, that's like a bonus, really, a free item that you have made. Now, generally, I am talking about StarCraft Special DK, so the standard yarn that you use for your day-to-day projects. So in this video, I'm going to give you some suggestions. I have already done videos on a lot of the things that I will suggest, so do go and have a look at those. I am also going to give you new ideas for upcoming videos, so do please make sure you follow links that I'm going to be posting at the top, but also in the description box below, because there'll be lots and lots of things, ideas that I will be linking to this video. Now, what are scraps? Scraps are leftovers from a project that we finished making, started balls, amounts that you won't be able to complete a round or a row with, bigger and smaller leftover amounts. And for me, once the ball is started, I have to put it with my leftovers because, for certain projects, like I said, I do need the full ball. So yes, my leftovers build up quite easily. Now, The trick is as well to keep them nice. So avoid getting your leftovers entangled at all costs. Okay, keep them in their yarn ball shape. That's what I do anyway, as long as possible. If they do get, sort of scraggly, that's when I cake them up, and sometimes I will make them into magic cakes. And that is, oh, I tell you, this comes with a warning, okay? Once you start caking, you will not be able to stop. So, if you make magic cakes or multi-stranded cakes, that is a whole hobby in itself. So yes, it is lovely to turn your leftovers into a whole resource of cakes or magic cakes. So just making sure that you keep your leftovers as nicely as possible is a big thing, and that will allow you to use them for all kinds of projects. So caking up your leftovers is a great hobby as well. I have at least enough for another zigzag blanket. I find it easier to keep them from getting entangled when they are nicely caked up. So how do you store your leftovers? Preferably somewhere where they're dust free, by colour, by brand, by the amount that's left over, even by thickness. So mine are on an open shelf, but they do not get the time to get dusty. I'm always rummaging around in them and using them, check colours, try something out, make a sample. So, they don't have the time to go dusty. So in a way, if you are needing to make something small, always check your leftovers before you start a new ball. So there are various ways of getting rid of your leftovers, either through crocheting or not. You don't have to actually crochet with them. Now, on the other hand, you might be in a situation where you might have to just get rid of your yarns for reasons, all different. So there are places where you could donate your yarn, for example, in schools where they could use it for projects, or in youth clubs where the children could use it. Some care homes for the elderly, also they might take it because some of the elderly living there might be making projects, or they could be doing activities with them. Some charities might take them, some clubs like WI or something like that for their members, for projects that they might be doing there. Some yarn bombing associations in your local village might take it. So it is worth trying to find out somewhere where they will take them and they can make really good use of it. Now you could also sell it or give it away via social media or sell it at your garage sale and things like that. Now there are also ways to bust some of your stash by using it but not crocheting with it. So you could use it to make tassels with it, for instance, for a garland, or do some gift wrapping. I have some ideas coming up in a next video for those, so keep an eye out for that. And that way you make your gift wrapping much more memorable than the gift itself, maybe. You could also make a yarn ball wreath. Yeah, look at that. That will be a video as well, and that will use up some of those yarn leftovers, and you have a wonderful thing to gift or to hang up in your craft room, for instance. But also, if you have finished a project, for example a shawl, make tassels. Make the tassels fatter or thinner depending on the amount of yarn you have, and finish your shawl that way. Sometimes if it was a special yarn that I bought for that project, I will keep the little leftover to just, make sure that should I lose a tassel, I can make another one. You could also do some punch needle with it, or weave with it, or make some pom-poms. Okay, so you could actually crochet with your leftovers, of course, right? So you could be making small items, or you know, drawstring bags, scrunchies, a little basket. If you're into amigurumi, then it's always good to have a selection of colors ready to go. You could make, like, you know, the small dream catchers like the ones I have there. Embellishments for wreaths, cards, present, gift wrapping, you know, appliques, small items. Oh my goodness, there's so many things you could do. You could make hats for donations, scarves, blankets for babies even. If you are donating, make sure you check the requirements that they need, because everybody, you know, every organization might have different conditions for donating things like that. I also know people who have made blankets for pets that they then donate to a shelter, things like that. But of course, as well, you can keep some of that yarn to try things out, to make samples, to try out your gauge and things like that. For me, I'm designing all the time, so I do use the yarn sometimes, and I unravel it, try again, unravel again. You know, so in the end, I really do need to start another ball, because I've just tried it too many times and the yarn has been, you know, used up basically. So I do have to sacrifice that yarn, but it has served a really good purpose for me, so I don't mind about that. Now, of course, you can make large items with your leftovers. Make large items which are made up of small items. So, for instance, a multicolored granny square blanket, a zigzag blanket, you know, where you do the rows, or like this one here, a leftover blanket, again, just enough for a row. You need about 1300 grams in total for a single bed-size blanket. So, you know, you can make up the different rows with different colors, and then that way you can make a big thing. Or even add a neutral color into the mix. So for instance, if you have some leftovers, add a neutral color, mix it all together, and it will make a nice whole. If you have lots of leftovers, you could add in a neutral color, and then that way it ties it all together. Or for instance, for the zigzag blanket there as well, for the border I used new balls because I wanted a particular effect. So that way it did work for it to, you know, have that effect, and the middle was all used, of course, with leftovers. Of course, the border then gives you new leftovers, and that way, of course, it's a never-ending story. But hey, that's what it's all about, right? Now, when you have a lot of leftovers and you really want to use it all up, a multi-stranded blanket or basket is a great way to bust some stash. Now, the colors will be wild, but look at how this worked out. I mean, it was just a wonderful, wonderful color palette, this blanket. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what people call an ugly blanket, right? I don't think there are ugly blankets at all. Well, there are. Let me explain. So some people take some leftover balls and they just start using them up. They use one ball until it's finished, then start another. But very often, that's not the best way to go about this, because then you have blocks of colour and that hurts my eyes. So when I use up certain balls, I will finish a row and then change colour. That way your colours come back, make that little bit of extra effort, and you will not have an ugly blanket. You will have a wonderful blanket made up of leftovers and you don't even realise it. So for a single bed size blanket in Starcraft Special DK, because that's the yarn I use all the time, you need about 1200 to 1300 grams for a single bed blanket. Now that is why packs are usually made up of 15 balls. 1500 grams will give you, you know, the amount you need, plus of course some leftovers, which you then can use for another project. Like I said, it's a never-ending cycle. Now, if you haven't got quite enough leftovers, you can start your bigger project and then put it to the side again when your leftovers have run out. And then once you've got some more again, you can add to it. That's what I did with this blanket here. I started it, my bag of leftovers was depleted, was empty, then I put it all away, I got some more leftovers, and then I started again on that blanket. And you can actually tell which projects I was doing because it was clear that those were the leftovers from those particular projects. Now, I have to say, everything that you see in the background here has been made with leftover yarns. So bigger projects, smaller projects, decorative, gift giving, all kinds of things you can make with leftover yarns. We all knew this project wasn't going to get finished. I do hope this video has been an inspiration to you and has given you ideas that when you look at your stash, you will not just see that it is taking up space and lying around, but it's a valuable resource that we have already paid for, and it's at our fingertips, and we can create fabulous things with it. Not only can you make small items, you can make big items with your leftovers too. So don't worry about having leftovers. You can turn them into something useful, or even a present, or a wonderful blanket for yourself or a loved one. So I've got some videos coming up with lovely ideas. Look, there is another idea as well hanging up there in that garland. So keep an eye out for some upcoming videos. Check the description box below and the links at the top as well. And I hope I have inspired you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Yeah, I'll post this somewhere. I'll show it in a live when I've finished it. Okay, bye.